like to bring on our three guests, Samuel, Alain, and Katie. Please join us. Big round of applause. All right. Amazing, amazing.
How's it going?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Friday, 5 p.m. How's everybody feeling?
Great.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, nice to get started.
Yeah. Have you guys done Otaku Fest before?
No, first time.
First
time, yeah.
Wow, okay. What are your guys' thoughts? We have a Miami native apparently, so does this have you done a lot of conventions in Miami? How does this fare?
For me, this is actually my first convention ever, so I'm really glad it worked out. Yeah,
all right.
My first time ever. I got a few planned out, but I'm glad that the first one was here in Miami, so I'm very excited to be here with you guys.
Wow.
Were you just waiting so that
Like
the
a
first
year and
one
a
would
half,
always
and
be
then
a
when this one
homecoming
came up,
for you?
I was like, this one is the one I can have some cafecito at, so I'm going to come to this one.
So you've been invited, you just said no to everyone. You said, well, as soon as that Miami one comes up, I'm saying yes.
It was magic. It was meant to be.
Amazing. What about you two? How's your Friday been?
When you said everything's great, I was about to be like fucking knackered, and then I realized, I was like, oh yeah, keep it upbeat. Yeah, I'm good. I'm very jet lagged. I flew in from Switzerland and left at 4 a.m. yesterday, so I'm a little tired, but the Miami vibe is keeping
What's
me.
that time difference?
Yeah, what's the time difference?
So they are 9 hours? Ooh. No, I'm thinking in LA, maybe they're like 6 hours. I don't even know what day it is, to be honest, so
I guess it's Friday, yeah.
All I know is it's Friday.
Friday-ish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Friday, and so far so good in Miami. Thanks for the warm welcome, everyone. It's been great.
Yes,
Yeah,
amazing,
thanks,
amazing.
guys.
Nice. Well, 2 more days left. I feel like that's, today is a solid way to start. So if today's been good, I'm sure Saturday, Sunday are just going to be absolutely incredible. Yeah. So you guys have worked together in the same game, correct? Are you guys all in Modern Warfare 2?
So Alain and I have worked together. We have not, but
We have
part of
not.
the same franchise, but we're not. Yeah, we don't get to play with each other, do we?
Yeah, I was an operator in Modern Warfare, Warzone Mobile. And then I did some stuff for Modern Warfare 2. I did some like pilot stuff as well.
Oh, amazing.
They've been very loyal.
You were in several of the games?
Yeah, as like the same operator. They kept bringing her back, which was a first. It's that kind of loyalty I found is quite rare in video games. So because they tend to change things up all the time. But I love that consistency.
Wow.
In the Call of Duty games, it's something I just really love about the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Call of Duty is such a legacy franchise. It's been around for so long. Was there a lot of pressure, kind of taking on sort of voice acting a character that's come on, in a new game? I just feel like acting has become a sort of a relatively new-ish thing, like this level of acting for video games. So did you guys face any kind of like pressure taking on a character in such a legacy series, or was it kind of just another day at work?
Well, for me, I didn't really know what I was getting into, if I'm honest. Like when I audition, they're very cagey about what you're auditioning for being protective about the IP.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it wasn't really until I had the job that I really knew for sure that I was playing Ghost. Which was good. And then, because I'd never done a video game, hardly anybody's ever done a video game of this size until you've done it. But the actual process, and my friends here can talk to it as well, but it's quite a small operation, our part. I mean, obviously there's hundreds of people who are making the game. But when it comes to actually the nuts and bolts of playing out these scenes and the cut scenes and what have you, there's really just the cast and a very small crew. That's all it takes, and millions of dollars of equipment. And it's really not until it comes out that juggernaut really starts powering forward, and you see the impact that it has. So, which is healthy for when you're making it, so that you're not feeling huge amounts of pressure. I mean, it'd be like if you were doing a play in a theater with, 200 million people. Like it'd be like that, you know. That would be really scary, but it's not like that. So.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Did you guys have similar experiences with that, or was it kind of just easy peasy? Because I feel like your character also, like it's you in the game. Like it looks like you.
Yeah, in my case, it was a little different because this, Alejandro was a character that was written specifically for that game. So when you asked that question, the first thing I thought was what was going on in your mind, or maybe in Barry's mind, having to play a character that's been around for such a long time. So I felt like that, being able to create something that was just for this game for the first time allowed me to bring in a lot more ideas, allowed me to just have a lot more freedom to play. And I think that, Brian and the rest of the team, towards the beginning, they kind of had an idea of Alejandro, but, eventually we kind of just came to a common ground of who that character was. So they were writing scenes for me, and that I and they would be like, yeah, that sounds like something Alejandro would say, So it kind of just showed up to where it was. And like he said, the team at IW, they were so helpful, so amazing. And if any moment we were just unsure about what we were doing, or we needed help, or some assistance, it was a pleasure to work with them for sure the whole time.
Amazing. Katie, anything you'd like to add? I feel like you've had to have a unique experience.
I was surprised, like you said, with the sense of intimacy in the sessions. And the commitment to realism blew my mind. This, stepping into the role of an operator, this was something completely different for me because the other characters I'd done before that, like a character Kate in Fallout 4 and Suvi in Mass Effect Andromeda, those were, those were very nuanced, emotional roles. And to step into the shoes of someone like Charlie, to engage in that kind of a military performance and access guttural sounds within my body that I didn't even know were there. That was a surprise. Sort of was shocking to me. Shocking. And the commitment to realism was shocking. And when I auditioned for the role, it was just, again, didn't know what the project was. And it was, the character was it was Glaswegian soldier. And I'm Glasgow, as we call ourselves, Glaswegian. And I thought, I've seen Scottish roles pop up, but at that time, that wasn't that common, and certainly not, when people generally think of Scottish voiceovers, they kind of default to Edinburgh because it sounds very pretty, but Glasgow's kind of got that tough edge to it. It's not as musical to listen to, and it's very gritty, and Glasgow is a sort of industrial city, and full of Gothic architecture, and it's just really rough around the edges. So to be able to channel that into this role was really cool.
Amazing.
And and they also, and I can say this of a lot of the projects I've been lucky enough to work on, but they just run such a tight ship. At Call of Duty, it's just this beautifully oiled machine. And so to be a small part of that was mad. It was insane.
I got to say, I didn't know what I had auditioned for either. And when I auditioned for it, I was like, okay, this is a cool military game. And then they brought me in for the scans. And I was like, great, I'm getting scanned. And then I walked away from that scan and I was like, I still don't know what the hell I'm in. And it wasn't until the second facial scan that they were like, yeah, we're going to do this as the game and this and that. And I almost had to ask them, I feel stupid, but what game is this? And they're like, oh, you're in the Call of Duty. And then that's when I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's
something that's always interesting to me when it comes to video game voice acting is if you're voice acting in an anime or a cartoon or something, you can just go to that episode and listen to yourself back or, kind of give yourself feedback. But you kind of have to, some characters in video games, you obviously have to progress through the game. Are you able, do they give you the cutscenes? Are you able to just watch those? You are? So you don't have to beat the game to go give yourself feedback?
They show you them along the way.
Oh, do they? Oh.
But it's never finished. So we see quite early versions of what we did, maybe a month later. And there's still, your character's still got a dead arm or something, you know, like glitching
They're
out.
floating from place to place.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like, this is where I float
or
from there to
everything's
there.
moving like you, but the face is like a little.
So it's not 100% put together.
It's not 100% put together. So yeah, and then eventually, and as it gets better, they're excited to show you, so you see a lot. But really, the first time you see it in its finished format is when it comes out. And then because I don't sit at home and play the game. I have played it. I'm terrible at it, but because it's like a full-time job to get good at that thing. So, but I do really enjoy watching the like playthroughs that people do. Like there's some like really good players, and then you get to see the game, you know, in that version where someone's really good, you know, which that's not the whole point of making it. Obviously, it's for everybody, right? But like when someone does play it like that, you get to see the thing progress, like you're talking about.
Like, dang, I am super cool.
Yeah, and then you get to, no, it's true. Yeah. And then all the story happens as it was designed to happen, right? And then all of those, there's a thing we do called battle chatter, right? Which is where at the very end of the process, you go in and do all the yells and like RPG, you know, all that, whatever it is. Like you do all the screaming and all the, you know, grenade and whatever it is. And but they're often kind of out of context, right? Because it's like a list of things that they need, and you do it in like 6 different ways, and they keep all of them, and then they have this toolbox that they can use throughout the development when it happens. So it's kind of cool to see that come together, right? Because it's kind of abstract, that part of the process, and then at the end of when it's all coming out, you get to see, oh, that's why they had me say it like that, you know, and that's
You're just creating a list of sound bites, and then you're
Yeah.
just hearing yourself like randomly, and you're like,
Well,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
or there's the things that we call nags, right? So there's things that the characters will say if you don't move, right? So if you're supposed to go over there, but you're hanging out over here, there's all these things that are scripted, that writers have written for the characters to say, that are only triggered in the event that you do something stupid in the game, right? Or just something you're not supposed
Or
to.
you're
let's
just
say.
eating Doritos, and then
Yeah,
my
you
character's
get
like,
distracted.
Come on,
and-
hermano, we have to go.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. And so until you watch it and see that happen, you don't get the fun of it, you know. So that's very exciting for me. I love seeing all that.
So you can't really conceptualize what's happening. You just kind of are saying it, and then you finally get to kind of see like, oh, I did A, and someone else did B, and that's where the sounds for this or the
Yeah,
voice
and then
for
it
this
all
happen.
comes together.
Amazing.
Which is what all those hundreds of people working at computers are for, right? That's what they're good at.
Yeah, and also when you're filming it those days, the world, they're just really explaining it to you. So they're just like, hey, this is going to be here, this is going to be that. You guys are on a boat, and we're going to shake the platform or whatever it is. But then, and you go all out, you know, as a kid would. You grab this rubber plastic gun and you say, hey, bang, 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 bang. But when you get to see it like that, whether you're playing it or whether you're watching somebody else playing it, you really still are impressed, and your suspension of disbelief as an audience member, I mean, I felt it. I was like, wow, this is what we were working on. That's what Las Almas look like, you know? Like the whole part in part 2 where I crossed the border, and, you know, I mean, we were just working on a platform little thing that was like not even 2.5, 3 feet tall. But to see that happen in the game, to see how it all came out, it really, I mean, it makes me as an actor take a step back like, wow, I barely didn't do anything. It was the animators that were the ones who were the real stars, you know?
Yeah. Very interesting, very
Well,
interesting.
we did a little bit.
We did. It was good. Yeah.
So my experience was completely different because my character is an operator. And so all of that delicious story stuff, like 98% of the stuff I did was battle chatter and nags. And what was really fun was it was quite collaborative because they wanted me to, you know, bring as much of my like Scottishisms. So I'd like swap out like shits for shites and all sorts of stuff. So that was really fun. But so I didn't see anything until my 10-year-old nephew was playing the game, and I heard like reloading, and I was like, and
You're like, whoa. That's
yeah, and
pretty
it was
cool.
amazing. It was just, you know, because you're basically, you're doing so many different takes of each line or word, and you don't really know. It's hard to conceptualize the context until you see the final result. And so for me, that was wild. And it was the first time I'd had that experience, because the other games I've done that were more, my role was more kind of, had more of a story and an arc. You know, I got to see clips of the sort of animatics and things along the way. And so for this, it was just sort of, I was in my own wee vacuum, just screaming and shouting and having a ball, basically.
That's so cool. You know, I feel like acting in video games is still sort of a new-ish thing, and I feel like they've kind of introduced this level of acting. And you know, you guys have had background in anime, live action. You know, you kind of mentioned some already, but what are some other just nuances to video games that are different from those? Because I feel like video games is still just such a different thing. Even the background clips is still something that probably a lot of other acting types just don't get to experience that. I mean, even scans and kind of like going through the motions, it's acting, but it's kind of like you're, you know, got dots all over your face and stuff. Like, what are some of those other just interesting nuances that are different between, you know, anime or just live action acting? Because I feel like it's a totally different industry.
I don't know about how you feel, but I think that it was a lot like theater. You know, like with the dots and with everything, the fact that there's a camera everywhere, it was a lot freeing, because when you do, you know, when you're dubbing an anime, you're dubbing somebody else's performance, and you have to constantly look at the lip flaps and, you know, how much time that take might be. But when we were there, you know, like I said, the cameras everywhere, they gave us all the freedom, so it really felt like a stage performance. If I wanted to take a 180-degree turn, I can. And it was, in my experience, I only speak for myself, it was very, very freeing as an actor. And, you know, that's something that voicing other video games, I didn't have, you know, really, you don't get the chance to do that. And even if you are in the booth and they have like some sort of facial recognition helmet, you're still very limited. Whereas I think that Jeff and Brian were like, hey, you know, you guys can kind of do what you do, and we'll follow you. I mean, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think the theater reference is a good one. Like, performing in the volume and filming in that way is very much like the last day of rehearsal for a play, where things look a little bit like they're gonna be, but they're not the actual thing, right? So you know that that's a door, but it's actually like a music stand on a hinge that, you know, so there's a lot of imagination and a lot of suspension of disbelief that's involved. But that being said, like all genres that we work in, and we all work in film and TV and theater as well, so at its core, it's exactly the same, right? So and actually, this is the Call of Duty script writing is exceptional. Like, when you get those scripts and read them through, they are as good as the movies that get made. Like, it's high quality writing. That's why the characters have had so much emotional investment from the community, the COD community, right? Because you care about them. And you care about them because it's written well. It's not an accident. It's not just because they appeared on a screen. And so because of that, it's really fun to act. And when we do it, despite the fact that you have, you know, a huge headcam with lights in your face and all of the dots and everybody's in the same costume, this lycra suit with dots on and all of that, despite all of that, you still look the guy in the eye or the girl in the eye and you play the scene like you would on a movie. And there's still an action and there's still a cut, and they don't move on until it felt real. And so that is what's really cool about video game acting today versus where it came from. And that's why these games, not just ours, but many others too, have this huge following and emotional investment in the stories, is because they got better, you know?
Like, the character's not there. You guys are essentially just building the character as well.
Yeah, and the graphics are better, so it allows the actors to really, really have, you know, a performance that they would give on screen, you know. And if you can capture the graphics that the actor's giving on the volume or in the stage, then you're gonna feel that experience too, you know. Because we want to give the best performance. We want it to be truthful. And if, you know, the graphics allow us to do that, and the engine that we had working at IW and at Activision was incredible, we do feel like it can capture every single subtlety, you know. And that is important, because if we experience it, like I said, the gamer will experience it.
We have ex-SEAL team members in the studio with us too. So we get very rigorous and critical military training. So we really lean heavily on those guys, right? So, there's no reason why me, from Southport, England, should know how to
all of these,
look like we need help to look that good. And so
that's incredible.
So there's a lot of work that goes into making it feel authentic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even very specific things, like if I was grabbing somebody and I would be asking, well, what hand would I grab with him? Because if I have my gun in my right, do I put my gun in my left? How do I put the gun? Would I grab him with the right? And it wouldn't be a silly question either, because these are things that they would be thinking about in the field when they're grabbing somebody who's a hostage or who's, some sort of prisoner of war. Are they going to be able to get out of the way? How can we stop them from getting away? And one thing that they would tell us is that the players, especially the Call of Duty community, they know the guns, they know how to hold them, they know if you're messing it up, and they'll be like, that's an amateur actor. We don't want that.
Yeah, and I think to what Katie said as well, like the things that make this different are the things that that create more options. So because we're not constrained by hair, makeup, costume, sets, lighting, all of these things, set dressing, props, all of these things that make filming take such a long time. Once it's all set up for the beginning of the day, it's kind of ready. And so you can get on there and just shoot and start filming it. So basically, as soon as it feels right, you can try another idea. So that gives them the opportunity with like an operator, for example, we can go, right, well, we got everything we planned, but we've still got time now to play.
Yeah.
So that's what happens all the time, right?
That's so
and that's the
cool.
best part of the job for me. And the most exciting part is that kind of that space, when there is room to play. Yeah. And I feel like, on the same note, like one of the most, I think we're just in this very exciting era with storytelling for games and animation where, and this has been happening for a while, where they absolutely give film and TV, live action, a run for their money with exceptional storytelling and fantastic writing. I can think of many times in video games where I've had the pleasure to deliver just stunningly beautiful and deep monologues that are extremely filmic. Yeah. And you're not restricted, again, like what you're saying, by the physical. So you just work, navigate it through the emotional and deliver it through your voice. And it's really no different, it's still, at the end of the day, I feel like people separate acting and voice acting into two different categories, but really it's just the craft of acting. At the end of the day. And off topic a little bit, because I've got a panel for a show Arcane I did tomorrow, but my experience with Arcane was unique as well. It was another really creative way to work. It wasn't facial capture or mocap, but they basically built the entire character around my pictures and videos. And so this character had all my kind of facial expressions and mannerisms that was not mocap. They just built it. They paint, the show is beautifully painted, literally. And so they built this character. They magically captured the essence of me in this character without doing, facial capture. It was just that was another magical thing. And that show's also pushed boundaries and smashed ceilings in the same way that Call of Duty has. It's very exciting. It's for me, it's been a really, it's where I've felt most at home in this kind of voiceover realm. There's something just magical happens when you step into the booth, and it's just incredible. It's been amazing. I've loved working on the games too.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. There's something to be said about playing a video game and saying, the characters really attributed to that. It was all about gameplay,
Yep.
and then it's like, you know what, this character is pretty awesome. The way he talks, the way she talks, the way they do this, the way they do that, the acting in this, the voice role is, attributing to games now, and I think that's just such an amazing thing, and that's really breaking boundaries, and I think you guys are right there at the forefront. It's like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, when I think of Call of Duty, I think of Call of Duty, and nowadays it's like, wow, Ghost, how sick of a character, Alejandro, it's just like so cool.
Can you talk to that a bit more? What do you think's changed?
I think, I feel like that just acting has been introduced to video games in the last decade in a way that it never has been. And I think that has just been, I guess, growing up playing video games, when I play like Mario, I never necessarily think, well, I guess Charles Martinet did a pretty insane job as voicing Mario.
He's so cool.
Yeah, okay, that was a bad example.
It was about winning or beating your friend, or
it's strictly about the gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did the game perform? How did the game play? How was the tracking of the guns and things like that? And then it's kind of like, you get to add that extra layer of connection to the game by having a connection to a character, which is really cool.
I also think that with games that are like have multiplayer, like Warzone, you're playing with these characters so often and in such an important way, because people will come up to me on the street and they'll be like, "Hey, what's up, Alejandro?" This and that. Like, I've saved you so many times. You saved me so many times, and I'm like, "That's awesome," But like that,
I remember.
I was there, bro. I remember, cabrón. But yeah, so it's really special, because you forget that these people are living with you for a while, and for some of these players, maybe they don't have. They play by themselves a lot of the time, so they kind of confide in you as your friend. And when I get that type of love from them saying, "Hey, I hours and hours and hours I've been playing this game and I've grown attached to it," and it's important to them, and sometimes it gets them through difficult times. And maybe Mario did that for some people, but I can for sure tell you that Call of Duty is doing that to a lot of others. So that's amazing.
Absolutely. No, I think that's breaking boundaries in video games that has never been done before. And honestly, it's just incredible to kind of just hear the behind the scenes of that and kind of your guys' thoughts. So incredible. Well, I would love, we have about 15-ish minutes left. I would love to maybe do some Q&A if anyone out there would like to address these fine actors with some questions, if anybody has anything. If not, we can keep...
Just as before we get to that, I'd love to just compliment all of the ghosts out in the crowd.
You guys all look so cool.
It's outstanding work across the board. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I think there's I can't really see it because this light's in my face, but I believe there's a microphone over here. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to do that. If not, we can always keep chatting about whatever.
Graves, yeah.
I see you, Graves.
Yeah, of course. There's a microphone over here.
Yeah, go to the microphone so we can hear you.
Heck yeah.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Where's the microphone? Where is it?
I think I see it right over there. I think I see a microphone stand in that aisle right there. I could be imagining
Give
things.
me the microphone. I got a question.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, we can hear you.
Hi, how
we
you
got
doing?
you, man. What's your name, dude?
My name's Nicholas Rosa.
Nicholas.
Nicholas, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I hear Miami, Florida. We've been to Epic Universal. We've been to Epic Universal. We saw a map. It said the golden mushroom was stolen.
Are you from Miami?
Yeah?
You are? Did you go to school here?
What's your favorite weapon?
That was his question. What's
What's my favorite weapon?
Weapon.
Alejandro's hands.
The long way.
Whoa.
That's Alejandro's favorite weapon.
I'm going to say quick wit.
My
Ooh.
favorite weapon is lightsaber.
Lightsaber? What color?
I watch Wally.
Okay.
Wally? I love Wally.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
your
Thank you.
question. Yay!
That is a good question. I'm trying to ask all these deep
Yeah.
questions, and I'm like, dude, what is your guys' favorite
your
weapon?
favorite
What a
weapon?
sick
Guns do you like?
question. Yeah.
All right, I'm out of here.
That's pretty awesome.
Straight to the point.
It's cool. No one else? Anybody else have any questions? All right, there we go. There we go. Help me out, guys. Jeez, I got nothing else.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so my name is Zach, and I was just wondering, what was your favorite part about acting throughout the game in the first place?
What was your favorite part about acting in the games?
I think the human journey from when I joined the game, the journey of all the characters going through these missions and how it affected their not only what they were doing but also their relationships with each other. Exploring all of that was really satisfying. That was my favorite part.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite part was, being able to try a whole bunch of different ideas that I thought Call of Duty and Activision and Infinity Ward were going to tell me that I couldn't try. I mean, because they basically gave me the script and were like, hey, go do your thing. And I showed up and I had this weird voice and this weird thing, and I had all these pictures of Aztec warriors, and I was like, yeah, they're gonna fire me. But they did not fire me. So my favorite part of acting was I felt very, very welcomed, and like they gave me the ability to really play as an actor and do a bunch of stuff that I feel like other big important projects might not be able to let you do. So the fact that they received all of it and loved it, and I had a great time acting with these guys as well. So
Mine was probably how these games challenged my stamina. Like, I was not in good shape when I started, and as you guys know, I was not in good shape when I got cast for the role of Charlie, and I couldn't have began to understand how physically and mentally challenging it would be as an operator, because it's like 4 hours and it's constant and it's intense and you're engaging every muscle in your body, and it was so full on that it shamed me into joining the gym and getting really fit. So thank you, Call of Duty.
Hi, my name is Addie. First off, I just want to say it's so awesome to see you guys. My friend and I came here from Texas, so we drove over 20 hours to come visit y'all.
Go Texas!
yeah, welcome.
Woo! Welcome.
Thank you so much. So my question is, who out of anyone in the world, you could pick anyone in the world, who is y'all's biggest inspiration for acting and for doing what you do?
Don't come to me first.
I'm looking at you.
I don't even know where to start. I've got so many. It's like asking what my favorite author is. I've got so many favorite actors and actresses. I don't want to say Gary Oldman because everyone says Gary Oldman. Do you know who one of my favorite actresses is? Maggie Gyllenhaal. Does anyone know her work? I'm weirdly obsessed with her. I don't know what it is. I'm like it's weird. She's one of my favorites. A lot of great theater actors, from back home inspired me to get into acting back in the day. But I find that, even going to the artist alley here, that's inspiring. Inspiration's everywhere. I don't even know, millions and millions. What about you? Is that giving you enough time to think of an answer?
Yeah, keep talking. That's great.
I think I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that my favorite actor is a Brit. It's Daniel Day-Lewis. I would have said Gary Oldman. I love Gary Oldman too, but Daniel Day-Lewis is just, he's incredible. And I got to say, I've said this story recently in an interview that I did, but I'll say it again. My first movie that I ever was on, my first movie set was Miami Vice. It was in 2006. And I had the luxury of meeting Colin Farrell because his personal assistant was a mutual friend of my brother and I's. Anyway, I met Colin Farrell, and he gave me his time and attention for 5 to 10 minutes. And I remember thinking, because I was in college at the time, I was like, man, this movie star is really, giving me his energy. And we shot in some of those scenes were shot in really bad neighborhoods and trailer parks in the middle of the night. And in between takes, he would go and he would sign autographs for these kids, and he would take pictures with them. And I was like, you know what? That's what a leader on set is like. Like, that's what I want to be like. And yeah, and that has, since stayed with me. So I continue to try and be that same type of actor, and that was a good model. So
I also just want to add, a hero of mine growing up was Dean Cain, because I was obsessed with Superman.
Me too.
And then when I moved from Scotland to LA, I was cast in a horror movie, and they were like, "Oh, come and meet the actor that's playing your dad." And I showed up on set, and it was Dean Cain, and I was like, "No way!" And that was a big, mad fangirl moment. And he was like so cute, and I was like, "But you're my dad. Are you my hot dad? What's going on here?"
Okay.
So still a big fan of Dean Cain, legend.
I think the reason why I find this question so hard is because I don't have a very long-term memory for artistic experiences. I feel like I get transported into watching something, and then it kind of like gets absorbed and processed and disappeared, and then I'm like into the next thing. And it's not always like the big kind of like star that has the biggest effect on me. Sometimes it's like a moment, or one of the smaller things. I think if like the actor that came to mind, who I just think is pitch perfect in literally everything they do, and who I would, happily watch in everything, would be like Michael Keaton. That's an actor that I just think can do no wrong. But it's not fair to pick one out, because there are just so many incredible actors, like all of the time in many, many things. Growing up and coming into the business, I was a theatre actor. That was where I started, in theatre in England. And so all of my heroes at that point were often, people that I would see in the theatre. And, I had the distinct pleasure of spending 9 months working with Sir Michael Gambon at the National Theatre. And that was like, acting with it was a theatre god. You'll know him as Dumbledore from Harry Potter. So there's people like that who I really, the kind of unpredictable magic that some actors have, that you can't believe that you're in the presence of it, and that's a real thing. And then there are film directors who consistently produce pieces of art that I always respond to, like Mike Lee, who I've worked with, amazing, luckily. Again, like the kind of hyper-realism is something that I'm most drawn to. And that's why, like, writers like Kenneth Lonergan, who I think is one of the greatest writers we've ever kind of had the luck to make stuff, Again, it's that like super realism. So that's what I'm really attracted to. And the actors that catch my attention are the ones that I can't believe that they're actually acting. Like, it feels like I'm a witness or something. So
Amazing. Great.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
God, I feel like I had to get through that. It's hard.
So hi, I'm Braden. Some people know me as Soaps Lover Man.
Hi.
First, Samuel, it's great to see you again. Me and my friend drove through the night last night from Atlanta to be here.
Wow.
We saw Samuel in Birmingham back in February. But when we heard that there was going to be a whole COG crew, of course, we had to make it happen. So
Thank you for making that effort. Hello, friends.
Of course,
nice to see you again.
But my question sort of is kind of a follow-up to that, because I'm the cool intersection of I love Call of Duty and Mass Effect. Those are like my two big games. So I wanted to ask, is there a genre, because we're thinking about sci-fi or like action realism or all these kind of different genres. Is there a genre that you feel you're particularly at home in, and why?
That's to me?
That's to all.
To everybody?
Yeah.
Good, okay. Is there a genre that I feel particularly at home in? No. I feel like you know, there is a human touchstone in every single genre that we all enjoy watching, whether it be sci-fi or whether it be action or, you know, name your genre, right? That there is, the reason why we connect to it is because there's some sort of universal theme or universal behavior that we can tap into. So for me, as long as the stories and the characters have been drawn in a human way, I feel well equipped to sink into that. I find it harder when it's fulfilling some kind of end game that's like an aesthetic or something, right? Oh, things need to look a certain way. It's a more stylized. I think those things are harder to kind of find your way into. But for me, it's like as long as the human element is there and real, I'll always find a home. And the genre, I don't really think about that too much.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him. I mean, growing up, I loved comedy and I wanted to do it all the time. And I was just, you know, I grew up with a 90s kid, so Jim Carrey and, you know, Austin Powers. I was like, yeah, I want to do comedy. And then, but I also loved, you know, really dramatic films and also movies that they don't really fit. I mean, they don't really fit anywhere. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, Goodfellas and Scorsese movies, and those movies, there's drama, there's murder, there's violence, but there's also a lot of comedy. Like, I can't watch Casino and not laugh my ass off. So it's interesting because you find that there is a little bit of drama and a little bit of comedy and a little bit of elements of all of that if there's truth in the writing. And if the writing is great, then you can play it as truthful to you as possible. And if it's you in an extreme circumstance and desperate circumstance, even if it's a drama, it'll be funny, because a lot of the movies that we like that we think are funny now, they're you know, they're not. They're dramas and vice versa. So
I was just told we gotta get things rolling, so we'll keep the answers short if that's cool with you guys. But obviously, we got to hear your answer.
Well, they're asking deep questions.
They are.
And we want to give them a real answer.
Quick answer.
Okay, no pressure. Keep it short.
We'll crush this line, though.
I'm going to get through the line.
Yeah, I also seek story and character that transcends genre. You might know I voiced Suvi Anwar in Mass Effect Andromeda. Definitely one of the most human characters that I've ever played. She was a scientist and philosophical, but also very religious, and also like a lesbian, and just all these things coexisted
An icon, yeah.
so peacefully within this one very beautifully nuanced and human character, and yet she was, you know, in the Mass Effect world. And so, yeah, like what you beautifully spoke about, that human touchstone, that's kind of where, for me, that's where I feel, you know, what I feel most connected to my humanity, when these characters are beautifully fleshed out and the story's there and the nuances there, and whatever magical or non-magical universe that kind of leads us into, that character pivots within, that's all irrelevant, you know. But it is exciting to explore different genres, and for sure.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
So you discussed the differences or different modes of acting earlier, mocap or voice acting, film, stage. Is there one that's most fulfilling to you?
You go.
I find them all fulfilling for different reasons. I won't go into all of it, but like, for example, like the immediacy of theater and the chance to have another go, right, is like super satisfying, versus when I'm filming and it's satisfying. It's a very short satisfaction for me. Like, I don't get a huge satisfaction out of watching the finished product, actually, in a funny way. Like, I get a lot of satisfaction out of having found a way to make it work on the day, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, like, the satisfaction comes at different points in different ways, but yeah, I think they all have their ways of being satisfying.
I agree. I think theater is my favorite, and because of a lot of the things that he said, you know, it's just it's live. You only get that one shot. The rush that you get for the actor is nothing.
So exposing.
You don't feel it. You don't feel it. I mean, that's just, it's incredible. And when you can make the greatest movie of all time, but you know, the experience that you have of watching other people experience it, and then, yeah, that's great. You're loving it, but right then and there, your job is done, you know? It's just, there's nothing like doing a stage performance from top to bottom with all of its accidents and beautiful accidents, really, you know? Yeah.
When you get to play the whole journey in one go,
Absolutely,
in one
yeah.
night,
Absolutely,
from start
yeah.
to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, also theater, there's something about that raw electricity. There's nothing quite like it. And within that, I really enjoy live performance. I do live storytelling on stage, which is basically where you get up on stage in front of a room full of strangers and tell them all kinds of weird and wonderful tales about your life. Some of them very, very dicey and questionable, but I found that extremely liberating. And right now and it is performance, right? It's almost monologues, but they're true to life. Right now, that's my favorite medium. It's the thing that I'm enjoying the most.
All right, thank you guys.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Maria. This question's kind of simple compared to all these really deep questions.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
But I just wanted to know if there's any particular voice line that's your favorite that your characters have said and why.
Grenade. Grenade. No, I really, I think I like the funnies. So I really like, you know, 2 goldfish are in a tank. Bit of military humor. You know, that's great. And then the other one, more recently, is just the line, you know, I can't remember the line that came before it, but she says, why has he got a mask? Why'd you wear a mask? And he says, to hide my face. Simple, but effective.
I probably think my favorite one is, well, people like me to say and write, you know, weapons hard vaqueros. But my favorite line is, órale, tienes huevos, cabrón.
Oh my God. Could listen to it all day.
That's pretty cool, though.
Could listen to it all day.
That's
Oh,
pretty
I feel
darn
like I'm going to
cool.
disappoint everyone out. I recorded hundreds and hundreds of lines, and yet I can't remember any of them. One thing that did make me laugh is when Charlie called like all the men on her team ladies, ladies move! And I just something about it just cracked me up and still cracks me up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I guess my question is there any particular moment or memory from making Call of Duty that has stuck with you?
Yeah, I really, I'd say the cliff scene after Soap died. Spoiler.
Wow.
10 years later.
Can't imagine it is at this point.
Wait, what?
Used to be. But that was a really beautiful scene, and it was a very heavy day because we found out just 2 hours before that it was happening. So it's kind of a big deal, that one.
In my case, I liked shooting the interrogation scene with Valeria. That was, you know, yeah. I really loved that day. I brought it. She brought it. I was like, oh damn, she's giving me fire, and that's what I wanted. So we only did like 3 or 4 takes of that too.
For me, it was like a physical thing where one of the sessions they had me like on a treadmill with like a military mask on for like the realism of it, and that was like I was like, oh shit, this is this is real, and I'd never worked like that before in my life, and that stands out because I just was so inspired by that moment. I just thought, wow, it's like art on a different level. I just thought it was incredible.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm a little too short for this.
Don't worry about it.
Perfect
Oh, we
size,
can hear you
perfectly
perfectly.
sized,
I think
yeah.
so.
Okay, that's good. My name's Quinn, and
Hi, Quinn.
I'm just gonna say this right now. I've been having a really bad day. So
Oh.
do you have any words of advice or just anything to say just to make my day a little bit better?
I'll take this, guys.
Let's go. All right.
Are you here on your own?
No, I'm My boyfriend and my friend.
Okay, you're having a bad day. So, when I'm having a bad day, I tend to want to recoil into myself. Like I could be at a party or an event and my instinct is like, I need to get home now. I need to, yeah. Do you mind me asking, are you on the spectrum?
Not diagnosed. So.
Okay, I am, and it's been a huge lifelong struggle, getting to this point. And so for my instinct is to recoil into myself. But the fact you're already here with people that you care about is really special, because I feel like probably every part of you wants to leave right now and go home. And I don't want to force you to stay, but I want you to know that this moment is temporary and it's going to pass, and what you're feeling is completely normal. And what's incredible about conventions in general is like there's thousands of people here, and most people here have felt the way that you are feeling, might even be feeling that way today, right guys? We've all been there. I mean, we're all united. We've all been there on those days where we don't want to get up in the morning and we don't want to hang around and we don't want to talk to anyone. And there's no magic wand or remedy, but the fact that you're here and still persevering and pushing through, just be kind to yourself, acknowledge it and accept it, and just take baby steps through the day and know that you might not feel this way tomorrow. It's going to get better, it always does, but it just can take a moment. And you seem really lovely. And are you going to be here all weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, come over and chat at my table if you want a bit of banter, a bit of talk or something,
I definitely will.
Please do, come and say hi. We can talk about all kinds of things, and yeah.
Someone already knows that I did run away.
You ran away?
In front of a particular man. That
I see. One of those.
Next to you.
Okay. Well,
I did run away, but that was because I was about to have a panic attack. So.
Yeah, but here you are standing at the mic, so that tells me that you just, that you should be here and you're meant to be here. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. I really believe that, and we're just grateful that you've had the confidence to come and step up, and I'm proud of you. It's going to get better, I promise. Come and chat later.
Okay, bet. I got you.
Guys?
No, I'll tell you. I mean, it's on days like that. I have days that I'm just like so anxious. I have days that I'm just like, man, I feel like the world is crumbling up on me, and it becomes like very difficult on those days to count your blessings. But when you stop and think about it, we all have so many more blessings that sometimes people wish that they prayed they had. I mean, you have two blessings right there that they came with. One blessing, would you say, yeah, I'm a blessing, homie? Yeah,
Which one's
and they care about
boyfriend?
you. And,
hi, boyfriend.
Yeah, and they
You're
care.
very lucky.
And they care
Hang on
about
to this
you.
one.
So it's going to be the start of a great weekend, and yeah, for sure, definitely come and say hi to us, and yeah,
I'll try not
definitely.
to run away this time.
Don't run away,
No,
stay.
don't run away. I'll go grab you. I'll run after
No,
you.
I'll chase you. You're really creepy.
And when he came backstage, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here too. This dude is intimidating, but he's pretty nice. Yeah, do you have any words of wisdom there?
Yeah, I'd just like to take a moment to talk a little bit about the SAG-AFTRA video game actors strike. So there's been a lot of information going back and forth, misinformation, disinformation, true information about the strike. I want to talk about it from a way that you may not have heard before, or you may have. So the union is negotiating a contract. The actors that are not on the committee don't decide what goes in and what doesn't in that contract. And we get to vote on the work that they did and as far as they got or could get. And so whilst we have a voice and we are able to say yes or no as a group, we don't get to influence directly the wording or anything like that. The main sticking points, as you know, the contract hasn't been done for a long time and it's been ready, so of course there are raises in money, and like everybody negotiates a raise, that's what the union does on our behalf, and that's fairly straightforward, and usually there's a back and forth and a happy medium, and the studios say yes eventually to whatever the number is. The big elephant in the room is AI, right? That's the thing that everybody's trying to figure out how to navigate. It's new. We don't know what it can do and what it will mean, which is why there's such a protracted back and forth about what the union and what the studios are willing to agree on. What I want to say to you as the fans, working backwards from us all being in this room right now, is that the reason you love video games and the reason why you felt it was important not only to come together as a community, but to come and meet us and be in a room and listen to us is because of human actors. And I can only speak from my experience, but when human beings are taken out of the human experience, the human experience is not as good. So what can you do about that? It is important as the people that finance these games, it's not the companies. They don't have an endless pot of money unless they can sell a game to the people that love it. I'm not telling you what to think. You don't have to think that human being actors are important to a video game being fun to play. But if you do, then I would encourage you to make contact with those video game companies. It's really easy. You go onto their social media channels, you email their communications team. Trust me, they are listening, they are reading. And it's a positive thing. Give them a compliment. Don't moan, don't complain about the risk to actors. Tell them just how much human actors have meant to your experience of playing the video games. That's what I would encourage you to do. Keep it positive. Tell them it's important and that you want it to stay that way. If you don't. If you've never thought about it, have a think about it and see if there's a reason to get behind that. We'll sort out the contract, it'll happen, and it'll either be protective or it won't. What the more kind of systematic question we have to answer is, do we mind if the stories we are telling are no longer told by human beings? That's the question we have to think about. So as you think about the actors' strike and how annoying it is that they're not making more games or whatever, don't worry about that. That'll get figured out. We'll all get back to work eventually. But do think about what I said about how human actors have made a difference and whether that's something you could compliment the studios on. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you guys so much. We are actually over our time, so I just want to thank all of you guys for coming out, spending some of your precious Friday, some of your precious weekend to come out and hang out with us. And of course, I want to say thank you to our guests for coming out and spreading some wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have a great weekend, guys.
See you back out there.
Yes, we'll see you guys at the booth. You guys are signing the rest of today and then, of course, all weekends, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys again. Let's get the heck out of here, huh?